Welcome to Excellence is in Utilities, the weekly 10-minute podcast that explores how the utility sector can unlock its hidden excellence. In every team and every process and every challenge, the potential for excellence already exists in utilities. Join us each week as we uncover how you can tap into that excellence from within, uniting purpose, people, and process to deliver sustainable performance, transformation, and lasting impact. Today, we're going to talk about the interwoven enterprise and the importance of management systems in driving sustainable culture and high performance. So ask yourself the question, why do great strategies, brilliant PowerPoints and decks and ambitious goals often fail to translate into daily results and delivered strategies? One of the things that we find often is that there's a disconnection between the boardroom and the front line. We see that organizations often treat strategy, daily management, the improvement of the organization, the recognition of its people, and leadership as separate siloed activities. But we see all of these things as systems that are needed to interact and propel the organization forward. So today we're exploring these essential management systems and critically, not just how they work individually, but how they must interlock to create a truly high-performing, sustainable culture. It's the interdependence between these systems that matters the most. Why does interdependence matter? This interwoven approach was identified by some work by Stephen J. Spear in the Harvard Business Review when he focused on decoding the DNA of organizational capabilities. And Spear identified that sustained performance is not achieved through isolated programs, but through cohesive management systems that consciously design, reinforce, and hardwire ideal leadership and employee behaviors into the daily work. So let's talk about these 5 systems in a bit of detail and try and understand what their purpose is and how they interconnect. So I'm going to start with system number 1, strategy deployment. Let's call it the GPS system. It's often called in business Hoshin Kanri or policy deployment. I prefer strategy deployment because I think that's what its purpose is, to deploy strategy. It's the way that the high-level roadmap is deployed into the organization. It creates the why and the where for the entire organization, and it receives hopefully a well-baked, well-shaped and credible strategy from deployment, from something that we might call the strategy formation system. Key activities you get in deployment are to translate long-term goals into annual team objectives and cascade them down the organization, giving people a sense of alignment, and through the use of motivational targets and conditions, a sense of being stretched and challenged as well. When done well, deployment also answers the why question. Why do we do the things we do? What is the purpose of our organization? What's the sub-purpose of our team, the team that I work in? And this question around purpose creates emotional connection, engagement, and emotional connection and engagement are the basis for what I would call discretionary effort. Okay, so deployment done well provides this sense of clear direction and emotional connection. It feeds directly into the tiered management or the daily management system. And if this system is weak, this deployment system is weak, the daily management system really is just busy tactical work focusing on today and today's crises and issues without delivering really any meaningful stretch for the future. And therefore, a significant percentage of the organization isn't connected on delivering a meaningful tomorrow. System number 2, let's call it the daily or tiered management system, often called or evidenced through a good dashboard, is what I would call the heart of operational control and execution. It's where direction, engagement, and alignment kind of coincide. And it's also where the performance of the work systems, the engine room of the organization, are monitored and observed and commented on. When done well, each level of the organization, from the shop floor to the executive, has a standard for performance enshrined in KPIs in their daily management, targets and project milestones, and a rhythm and a clarity for checking and acting on issues against that standard. And the core function of daily management is to monitor and compare performance against the standard and surface performance issues and opportunities for performance improvement. It doesn't necessarily solve those problems, it illuminates them. It raises red flags about performance gaps, or it raises excellence for recognition. Okay, and the connection out of the daily management system is into the improvement system where things are acted on. What you'd see as common tools in your daily management system are things like visual huddle boards, a really robust escalation system that links the levels together, and maybe the use of really clear traffic light signals to signal performance. Next system is what we would call the improvement system. Let's, for want of a better expression, call it the mechanic or the garage. It takes the performance gaps and opportunities surfaced in daily and weekly huddles and systematically fixes them. Not with quick patches, but with robust, sustainable solutions. Okay, it intentionally engages people to do the work in solving the problems. This kind of works on the respect for people tenant, and its main interdependencies are, as I just mentioned, it receives urgent, prioritized problem statements from tiered management. Often, tiered management defines the problem using credible performance data from things like the KPIs to give a sense of the importance and scale and priority of the problem. And the output from a good improvement system is a locked-in solution that really addresses cause and leads to a change in standard work, and also a connection back to strategy deployment and target setting that says this is the rate that we can improve things at. So therefore, next time we do deployment and we set targets, we understand the ability of the organization to improve and change, and we know whether our target conditions, our stretches, are right or not. Typical tools that you'd see in an improvement system are things like A3 problem solving for complicated problems, 5 whys for simpler problems. So if those three systems, deployment, daily tiered management, and improvement, are the kind of the core of the Interwoven exercise, enterprise, they are then supported by what I would call leader standard work and also a recognition system. And to continue my analogy, let's call those two systems the oil and the fuel. Okay, leader standard work is the activity that ensures that as leaders in the organization, you support and develop capability of those three systems. So your leader standard work might include coaching a daily huddle in the tiered management system. It might include observing and coaching an A3 improvement meeting, okay? Or it might include working with teams to understand how the X matrix affects their priorities in a particular area. These activities defined and standardized in your leader standard work link systems together, okay, and it really promotes the role of leader as a coach to develop not only the people but also the systems that those other leaders that work for you are running. Okay, recognition, okay, just slightly differently, supports the behavioral norms we want within our systems. Okay, so our recognition system doesn't necessarily focus on the outcome, but it focuses on how people went about achieving things, not what was achieved. Okay, so it recognizes how a team might have used an A3 problem solving tool to solve a complex issue and really get to cause, or it might recognize the collaborative and inclusive behaviors of a leader who was running flawless huddle meetings where people went away with a sense of clarity of priorities, but also really motivated and engaged to get on and deliver them. Okay, so our recognition system is focusing on behavioral norms. So let's think about it now. We've got these 5 systems working together in an interwoven enterprise. Okay, deployment is in a way giving us the sense of purpose and the target. Tiered management is giving us the performance signal of the work systems, telling us whether they're working effectively or not. The improvement system is leading us to the fix. Leader standard work is the discipline, I suppose, that keeps these 3 systems working and develops people to work within them effectively. And the recognition system reinforces the behaviors that we want within them so that the systems are really working smoothly. When they connect, strategy moves from the boardroom, the front line. Okay, we get more of the organization supporting delivering the strategy. It allows you to execute more ambitious goals and with greater certainty, perhaps to deliver more predictable outcomes as well, and with less daily crisis management. And by intentionally involving people in solving problems and recognizing effort through the improvement system and the recognition system, you foster ownership. People are respected because they developed and empowered to make their work and the entire enterprise more effective. So when these systems work interdependently, my point from the start of the talk, they stop being paper exercises and they start becoming a dynamic, self-improving set of systems and culture. And that's the difference, going back to Stephen Spear's point on decoding DNA about temporary success and sustainable operational excellence. So thanks for listening. Next time we'll dive deeper into codifying excellence with my colleague Ishan. We're also inviting established utility providers to apply for our utilities benchmarking study, designed to better understand, share, and collaborate around industry-wide challenges of delivering excellence. Each participating organisation will receive an excellence gap assessment, a detailed report, and a road mapping session with the SA Partners team, helping you better understand your unique journey to excellence. So if you'd like to apply, there's a QR code going to come up on the screen. Please scan that, or there's a link in the podcast overview which will take you to an application page. Thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure spending 10 minutes of my day with you. Look forward to seeing you again. Thank you very much.